Hey guys, it's Kay, and today I'm officially a year and a half on testosterone. So today, before we get started, I kind of wanted to address something, which is the fact that it's been, 6 months since I last made an update video or, anything on this channel. And I kind of just wanted to let you guys know what's going on in my life and all that stuff, kind of making that happen. First and foremost, I decided after I hit a year mark on T that making monthly updates was not really necessary anymore because there wasn't a whole lot more changing that rapidly. So I thought about doing every 3 months, and then, a year and 3 months on T rolled around, and I'm like, not that much more has changed, at least I don't feel like. And so I decided to wait to a year and a half. And that's kind of how I plan on continuing. I don't think I'll make another T update video till I'm 2 years on T. Just because after the first year, I feel like everything kind of goes a lot slower. There's also the fact that I'm going to school part-time and working full-time and just all around not having a good time. All jokes aside, school's okay, I love my job, but it's just kind of like a lot together, so I don't have a whole lot of time to do anything. So yeah, that's kind of why there's been a lack of content. Anyway, enough of that kind of general update stuff. Let's get into the changes that I've experienced within the last 6 months. So this last 6 months, there obviously hasn't been a whole lot of new changes, but an increase in the ones that were already happening. And actually an increase in the ones that I've actually wanted since the beginning. But let's go like we always do. Let's start head to toe, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the first thing that I've kind of been noticing this last 6 months is that my hairline has started to change. I'm freaking out a little bit, even though I know that I'm probably being overdramatic and overreacting, but my hairline has started to pull back in the corners a little bit more. I know I mentioned it before, but it's happening faster, and I've been noticing hair falling out on my sheets and my pillows and in my hands when I run my fingers through my hair, and there's a noticeable difference in the temple area of my hairline from what it was even just a couple months ago. And I know that around 2 years on T is when you typically start to notice either hair loss or just hairline changes, so I'm not entirely sure what it is yet, but I'm hoping it's just my hairline continuing to change, and I'm not going bald at 22 because that would suck. Continuing kind of just onto my face in general, I feel like my face has gone through this constant metamorphosis through this entire time I've been on T. Even looking at pictures from 6 months ago, I feel like I look really different, at least to me. I feel like the fat on my face is still kind of trying to find its home and redistributing, and so maybe I'll play a side-by-side clip of like me pre-T and then me 6 months, a year, whatever, I don't know, just kind of like a progression, and you can kind of see maybe how my face has changed. Another thing that I kind of wanted to get into was my acne situation. So acne came on at instantly, pretty much being on T, it was there, and it just continued to get worse, especially once I hit my dose that I'm on currently, which is the dose that's, proper for me. It has my hormone levels where they need to be, and it hasn't gotten better. The only thing different that I have done is about 6 months ago, I was starting Curology, which I used Curology for a couple months, and it helped at first, and it made my skin really bad because it turns out that I have very sensitive skin. And so just a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago actually, I finally went to a dermatologist. They prescribed me just like a face wash to kind of help out with that, and I'm also starting Accutane on the 12th. The most exciting change for me kind of going on with my face lately has been facial hair. This last 6 months, I've grown a lot more facial hair. Don't get me wrong, it's still not a lot, it's still probably not noticeable in everyday life, but that's fine, it's there and it makes me happy. Even though other people probably think it looks really nasty. So it's very, very slowly starting to come in. I don't expect to have a full beard soon, if ever, because just of my genetics. I mean, my dad has decent facial hair, but there's also the fact that we're Asian and relatively hairless. Another exciting update, I guess you could say, would be my voice. I feel like there is the potential that my voice has changed over the last 6 months just a little bit more. to me at least, it sounds like it's continued to drop. I don't know if that's because the way that I speak has changed a little bit more, or if my, voice is actually still dropping. But I almost forgot. I want to do a clip real quick just in case.
This is my voice pre-T.
This is my voice 6 months on testosterone. This is my voice 1 year on testosterone. This is my voice a year and a half on testosterone. Continuing on to kind of like the not lower half, but just like the rest of my body, muscle mass. Muscle mass has definitely been a thing continuing on these last 6 months. I'm still continuing to gain muscle mass, which I'm really impressed by, especially because the fact that I have not been to the gym in God knows how long, but I'm really enjoying having, a more muscular physique. And it's like when I'm, I have my shirt off, like I can see like my shoulders are broader. I have like chest muscles now, like pectoral muscles underneath everything going on there, but that's another story. But it's just super exciting to have that. The last physical change that I can really think of that has happened over the last 6 months would probably be an increased growth of body hair. Kind of just like everywhere I've started to get just a little more hairy, like on my arms, coming up onto my hands just a little bit. I'm not a hairy person by any means. Like I said, I'm just not a hairy person, nor is like my family, so we're hairless people. But I'm definitely starting to get more hair up on my thighs, like my shins and like calves and all that have been like decently hairy since early on. But I finally started to get hair on my thighs, which I've never had hair on my thighs before. As well as my stomach is getting really hairy, at least for me, and the hair is starting to kind of trail up onto my chest a little bit more. And before it was just like, oh, I have chest hair, like a couple of hairs like here and there, but now it's like starting to form a pattern, and that is interesting. Not in a bad way, like I enjoy having it, but at the same time being pre-op for top surgery, I just don't enjoy having my pre-op features with chest hair. But hopefully within the next couple of years that will change, because I've been saving for top surgery for quite some time now, and I do have enough money to do what I want to do, go to the surgeon I want to go to. It's only a matter of finding the time to do it and being mentally prepared for me, for my body to go through that kind of, like, I guess you could say, trauma. I've never had surgery before, and the thought of it freaks me out, even though I know it's something that I need to do. But that's definitely on the books for the future. The last thing I kind of want to close this out with are the mental changes that have continued to happen over the last 6 months. I have my good days and I have my bad days, just like anybody else. But the general consensus is that I have far more good days than bad days. People continue to see me every day more and more as male. Friends, family, people out in public. There are a few instances when people either find out I'm trans or I don't know what it is, they figure it out, I don't know. Because it's not like I go around telling people the first thing I meet them, I'm like, hey, I'm trans. Like, I'm over that part of my transition. But there have been people, especially recently, that have really gotten it wrong, and it kind of fucks with your head a little bit. It makes you wonder, like, why don't they see me how everybody else sees me? What's wrong with me? Especially being around, like, extended family back a little while ago around the holidays. That was really hard because, they're not entirely used to everything yet, and so they'll call you the wrong name, they'll call you the wrong pronoun, even though everybody's, like, pretty good about it, but even when it happens on occasion, it still can really mess you up. And so that's something I've really been struggling with, because I've reached a point of, like, I guess you could say passing privilege in my transition, where I've gotten so used to passing, so used to be calling the right pronouns, the right name, that when it does happen, it just has that extra impact that really hurts. And that can really get me in a negative headspace sometimes. And so I'm kind of just trying to navigate that. And I guess you could say, like, the depression and things like that come along with it. And all those negative feelings of not being enough, not being man enough. On the flip side to that kind of thing, the whole idea of being man enough, You know, I'm still working on it, but I've kind of started to transform the way that I view myself within masculinity. I no longer feel the need to be the poster boy for misogyny in order to fit in with other men. I've started to really branch out in my fashion and just like my interests and the general things I do. I'm allowing myself more and more to embrace the feminine side of myself. Even, I think back in October, I wore makeup for the first time in years on Halloween, and it wasn't like an issue. Like, I felt good, and it was like fun just to like dress up and have fun, and like it's Halloween, you know? And I didn't have that insecurity of nobody's gonna view me as a man if I do this, because I know who I am, and I know that who the people I surround myself with, they know who I am. And so I've been more comfortable branching out into like earrings. I never would wear earrings after having my ears pierced forever, and now I'm like allowing myself to do those things. I enjoy wearing earrings, and it's just nice to have reached a point in my transition where I feel comfortable enough in myself and in my identity to really truly be myself. And so I think that's kind of just the final note I want to leave this on, is that this last 6 months I'm continuing to just find myself. And not the version of myself that I felt like I had to create in order to justify my transition, but the version of myself that I lost a long time ago. And so it's just been an exciting time figuring out who I am. That's kind of all I have for you guys today. If you guys are interested in knowing anything about like my Accutane journey, or I know a couple of you guys commented recently asking for a review on a couple of the prosthetics that I had unboxed in the past, I may consider doing those. It all just depends on time. But thanks so much for watching, and I will see you later.